Hello amazing family, this is Hadija with the Parenting Mindset Shift, a place for parents to bring clarity, confidence, peace and joy to their parenting journey. And today is a video about a comment that I got from my previous video, Forgiveness, the Power to Heal and Move Forward, that we can put on a link. And I talked about a way to make it easy to forgive by not trying to rationalize it, but rather focus on feeling your way out to forgiveness. So meaning don't try to understand what the other person did or did not do to you, but focus on how you feel about the situation. The steps will help to forgive. So the comment asked for about the steps. So it's going to be a blend of different things that I wanted to share. Because first of all, I'm not a healer, I'm not a physician, I'm not here to say this is the way and it's going to work. I'm only sharing the reflections and steps that worked with me. And of course, my journey continues because growth is a lifetime journey. And each phase of your growth will meet another kind of challenge, and it goes on and on like that. So it never really stops because you keep on growing. So then you get better at being aware and take on the challenges with joy and peace, because now you know it's part of the growth. So you're managing it differently. And the reason I'm talking about that in the context of parenting is that when we are in so much pain, we unconsciously transfer the pain to our kids, and they transfer it to school and sometimes to their friends and then later to their own kids, and it goes on like that, like a cycle that doesn't stop. I choose to try to stop the cycle, which is why I'm going to share the things with you here of how I go about it. So I reflect on understanding why I would act the way I act if that didn't make me happy, if the behavior was like not feeling it, right? So when we are in pain, our body switches to survival mode, and in that mode you disconnect with others, you disconnect with yourself, completely disconnecting. So the lack of connection is the layer of some of the behavior that we dislike, because we barely recognize ourselves when we start yelling or hitting or verbally being unkind. It's not us, but there is a layer there. So the other aspect is, I'm saying it is a lifetime journey. So you do not get to a point where you say to yourself, okay, I'm healed, I'm good, everything is fine. The growth is noticed when you realize you don't react to the trigger, or you don't even get triggered. So if one of our kids trigger me and I lost it, yep, it happened. Of course it happened. I have teens, I have 17 and 14 and 9 years old at home. So it will happen. So when it happened, today it no longer takes me hours to reconnect either with my child or with myself, or collect myself. Some people may need days to recover back to connection and laughter. And for me, it's like a minute. And so I'm sharing things I either did or keep on doing and worked for me. So however, before you say to yourself, that things doesn't work for me, or I already tried it and it doesn't work, and ask yourself, how long did you try those things? Reflect on what aspect you didn't feel it didn't work, and why do you think it's not working? Because like I say, it takes time, all right? So just reflect on that. The second thing, not everything is linked to your past to justify the way you act. Sometimes it's just checking the basics. Do you have enough sleep, exercise, water intake, and eating well in your environment makes you happy? Check those things, because sometimes I know if I have a clean house, no laundry, with good night's sleep, I can be the most awesome mama of the day, of the week, or the week of the month, just because of those things. So just check those things. It's not always about in the past, like I said. So no matter how you approach the step, be intentional about why you're doing it so it goes right where it needs to be. My intention is to forgive, my intention is to change the behavior, my intention is to connect, my intention is to be close to my loved ones, my children, my husband, and my intention is to relax. Let's, start with an intention. Don't do anything on autopilot, but be fully in control and present, and it's way more effective. So, step number 1 is journaling. Write down your thought and feeling, and it can help you to release negative emotion and gain better understanding of yourself. Find a quiet place, so grab a notebook and pen and start writing. Write about your day, your emotion, your fears, and your dreams. There's no rules. Just, let your pen flow. And if you never did that before, of course it's going to be weird. You may not even have anything to say or to write. But try to take an appointment with yourself and stick to the commitment and stare at that blank page or blank phone, whatever you use for it. Just need to reprogram your brain to sit there and think and put it in pen. And as I said, you need to do the work, and it will not be easy, but I can see that you're truly fully committed. You're here. Try to look at this video and start here. Like, just start there. By journaling. The goal is to try to go to your subconscious, and you can only go there when you start in the feeling mode, not rationalizing it. Just feel it. And there is a lot of research today that shows that emotion gets stored in your body. So the goal is to reconnect with your body. I personally continued the work. I barely touched the surface of this beautiful work of being fully connected with my body and feelings and emotions and things like that. And it takes time. So just be patient, because there's no rush in that process, but you just need to get started. And if you don't have anything to write or journal when you're triggered, do it when you get triggered. It's like this. Getting triggered is like an alarm that tries to communicate something with us, but the emotion is so high that it's so hard to even hear anything. So for example, if you are here arguing with your child, and in that moment your teen is answering back and you take it as disrespectful, it's very common. Feel like I felt this way before. It's very common to feel disrespected. So let's reflect and give the benefit of the doubt that our teen is not trying to be disrespectful, but rather that trying to communicate or express a feeling. But we can explore the fact that we put a meaning in this interaction, that it may not be the truth. So that is how you felt, but again, it's not necessarily the truth. So here you want to kind of debunk what that means, and if your reaction to that interaction was justified, and instead of having an opportunity to just be calm and teach. This is how you should communicate to me if you wanted to say something in a respectful way, or in a way that we both feel good and respected and appreciated. So instead of communicating like that, you just react and then you go over and you just make the other person just stop talking because now you've been very disrespectful, go to your room and things like that. So let's just reflect on what is the meaning that we put in our interaction to see if that's what's the truth or not. And because if you are not in the habit of journaling, you can use specific time, or you can use random places during your kids' activity while you're waiting for pickup or drop off. You can use your phone or easier. Find your own style, as long as you reflect and write them down. And in the beginning, I think you need to write them down, because otherwise you will feel that you're reflecting, but it's actually not reflecting. It's just you going on a loop in your head and without any result. So I want to make sure that you know that I know your reason of being upset and frustrated, and all your emotions are valid. But the question is, do they give you the result you desire? If not, keep on digging so you can feel better and see some level of result. In that case, you feel like a little bit lighter, that you forgave or let go or move on while connected with yourself and others. And I think that's really the goal here. Step number 2 is acknowledging your emotion, recognizing and accepting your feelings rather than suppressing and denying them. It's important. This can help you gain clarity and begin a healing process to just understand. Here, what helped me was the work of Brené Brown. I love the different books. She has different books, but the last one is really a really good one, The Atlas of the Heart. And she's talking about naming the feelings so you can understand what is needed. And she gave different examples, like when you know that it's overwhelmed and not stress, you know what to do. When it's an overwhelmed feeling, you just need to stop what you're doing. You cannot keep on going like that, because that's when you start making mistakes, because you're completely overwhelmed. You just need to drop it and have a moment of stop. The stress can be just a different way of managing the stress. Can be just, let me just sit down here and see what's happening, and then I can just write it and continue. You can still continue to do it, but you're not fully present in while doing it. But the overwhelm, you're going to be completely inefficient. And understanding the difference in anxiety and I think the big one was grief and sadness. And when we think we're grieving, when we think we are sad but we are grieving, we cannot deal with that emotion, and then we need to understand exactly what that means so we can help ourselves to feel what's happening and then get a result and some kind of closure to that feeling. And her book is kind of a dictionary of feeling, but I think it's actually a beautiful book club type of book, because there's so many things that you can share and see what is the definition for each other. Like, what is the definition for you of being overwhelmed? What is your definition of being stressed? How do you distinguish those two? And put those on the comment. I would love to see that. Let me know if you actually read the book and if you know about the book, and maybe if you actually have a book club somewhere and I join you. But just share with us in the video so we can see and get inspired together. So step number 3 is to find compassion toward yourself and practicing self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding as you would a close friend. And again, we know it, but we don't do it. This is too important to actually do it. Remember, everyone makes mistakes and experience pain, and it's okay to be vulnerable and seek support. It's really important, and I think I personally practice that a lot. Listen, I'm working hard. You can even share that you're working hard on practicing kindness to yourself, and you will not tolerate anyone to be unkind to you. So let's start this conversation with kindness. That can be something said and naturally be okay. Here, you show up for yourself and you model that to your kids so they can see what assertiveness and self-compassion and boundaries look like. And I will be in different situations where I will verbally say that was not kind, and I don't do that to myself, so I'm not allowing you to do that, right? So that's the things that we want to say. The next step is reflecting on the situation. Take time to analyze what happened and what you can learn from it. This can help you gain perspective and make peace in the past. And when I say reflecting, that doesn't mean ruminating over and over and feeling ashamed and guilty forever with no solution, no plan at the end of this reflection. I'm talking about the reflection, which is thinking of why you got triggered in the first place, or why it hurt you, and what needs to be done. So sometimes it's only about talking to the person and clarify things. Sometimes the reflecting necessitate an action plan or a decision so you can resolve it. Either the decision is, you know what, it's no longer going to impact my behavior. I'm not going to stop thinking and being frustrated about it. You just take that decision. Or the decision can be to just talk to the person and try to see if we can resolve that. But the reflection needs to be followed by an action, just not you by yourself in your side and just reflecting. Step 5 is practicing relaxation technique. Engage in activity that help you distress, such as meditation, yoga, simply spending time somewhere. But the goal is take the habit to know what you love to do, like your bucket full of things that you love to do to relax. Make sure you're aware of what relaxes you. Sometimes we do things as an autopilot. We may think that watching a movie relaxes us, but then we still feel guilty, shame, and all that. Like it doesn't actually do the job. So make sure you know those things that relaxes you, and because relaxing looks different for different people. So taking the example of meditation, not everyone is crazy about meditation per se, but let's see if meditation from a different perspective, not necessarily I'm sitting and I'm crossing my legs and I'm like whatever. That's not necessarily it. It can work for some people, but not for everyone. Meditation is just focusing on one thing, being present and being in the moment. Then it can be anything. You can be eating your food and appreciating that mango that you're eating. And I don't know why I'm even thinking of mango right now. But you can even like be running and just focusing on that run, like how it makes you feel, praying or sitting on the sunset and just enjoying that. The most common one is focusing on your breathing. But it can be anything. And at that moment, you can only focus on the one thing, acknowledging what is coming in your head, but then let it go and pass. And the practice of doing that regularly allows you to train to be present and therefore connect with yourself and others easily. There is a saying that says when you have a normal day, just meditate for an hour. But when you have a busy day, meditate for 3 hours, because the presence and focus make you then way more efficient and productive. So I don't meditate 3 hours, but you get the point. Step number 5 is seeking support from loved ones. And don't hesitate to reach out to friends or family for emotional support. Talking to someone who cares about you can help you process your emotion and gain new insight. So I feel like asking for help and accepting when someone is offering help is a skill. It's a skill that needs to be taught and modeled to our kids. Again, we are modeling what's good for them. And one of those things are very hard for so many of us because we take that habit of trying to do everything ourselves. I'm trying to teach my kids that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept it because you want to offer it and you're excited when you do it, when you help each other. So accept it and ask for help so you can be lighter in the things that you want to do. And now it's time for our Chouette connection tool. That's an easy one for this week. Talk with your child about one of the steps that we talked about here, the things that they would love to do with you. That can be journaling, that can be meditation or an exercise together, reflecting verbally every night. Like that's a good habit to have. Share in the comment which one will you discuss with your child. Let's inspire each other to see what we want to do and see what an opportunity to teach something that you are working on, because I think it's important for our kids to see that we are not perfect. Thank you for watching this video, and please like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can have a notification for the next video. But we are doing that every Sunday here, so see you next time. Bye bye, au revoir.